103.79.4 FM.
Hi, I'm Clive Snippett, and welcome to my daily roundup of what's hot and what isn't hot on the Midhurst art scene. I've actually got a bit of a treat for you today with a little retrospective I've been working on what I would argue are one of the most important soft rock duos ever to emerge from the Wealden District. Tom Willard and Brian Gosling, better known, at least to those who know them, as the Casualties. And a fairly interesting story it is too, I hope you'll agree. After 2 years trying to crack the Ho folk circuit of the mid-1960s, the duo were forced to supplement their income performing a set of Greek-themed love songs at the newly opened Halloumi Palace under the name Alfredo and Alfonso, the Singing Busboys. Though no official recordings were made during this time, a live recording was recently discovered made by the restaurant owner's son to test a Grundig reel-to-reel he'd been given for his 14th birthday. Turned out he subsequently recorded over it with the Freddie and the Dreamers album, but it was luckily short enough that the final song of that night's performance was preserved, and which just so happens I have before me now. So from 1966, this is Alfredo and Alfonso with their tribute to a Latino lady of the night, Senorita Rosalita.
Senorita Rosalita Bambino babe from Mount Olympus at the Espadrilla Center when I saw her across the counter. Eyes like rubies, lips like emerald skin, just like fresh lasagna. Hair as straight as dried spaghetti, my nose filled with the smell of confetti. Went off to Winterthur when I returned to my Amora. She'd left her job for a better offer with some boys from Cosa Nostra. I sat in a tabanito, tears will lift my cappuccino, then set off in my Lamborghini in search of holy matrimony. I tried the canals of Venezuela, swam the seas of Andalusia, caught the leaning tyrant pizza like Romeo to Juliet, got salmonella from semolina, swapped the car for a used tortilla. They swore it was a healthy run, but it broke down the next week. There I saw my Mona Lisa, let her heel just 12%. I took her home to meet my mama. We went out there 2 minutes later as I'd become my concerto. Suddenly it was over the carpet and cut you out. She called for more, so I called my papa.
Live from the Halloumi Palace, that was Senorita Rosalita by Alfredo and Alfonso, soon to become the Casualties. Among the diners one night was a certain Larry Silverfish, owner of Piewick Recordings, a local label specialising in low-budget cash-ins of the latest musical trends, and which was itself a copy of another label specialising in low-budget cash-ins of the latest musical trends. Silverfish has since gone on record saying he despised their act, but after overhearing an argument with the restaurant owner over a stolen piece of baklava, he realised they were actually from the nearby town of Crowborough rather than Naxos as they had been pretending. Impressed by their willingness to demean themselves and general lack of artistic integrity, he offered them a 3-single deal with zero creative control, which they signed on the spot. After rebranding the Casualties, Silverfish decided to market them as a hard-edged answer to Jan and Dean, the US surf duo rendered temporarily out of action due to the latter's recent automobile accident, and put them in the studio with a song he'd written himself the previous evening, entitled Psycho Surfer. And this is it.
8 girls for every psycho surfer.
Watch out, suckers, psycho surfer sticking razors on his board. He hates nerds and thunderbirds, you better make up with the Lord.
Well, I am sorry if I upset you, but I thought you'd like to know. You better watch out. Psycho surfer's coming to get you. swimming in the nutty with your beach bum buddy makes Psycho Surfer mad. You better not wait, if he hears you ain't straight, you're gonna hear from his baseball bat. Well, I am sorry if I spoiled your party, but I thought you'd like to know. You better watch out. Psycho Surfer's coming to get you. So go, go, go. Touch his breaker, call an undertaker, cause that's just who you'll need. He'll drag you with him to that Beach Boy rhythm till your eardrums bleed. Well, I am sorry if I spoiled your dinner, but I thought you'd like to know. You better watch out. Psycho Surfer's coming to get you. Go, go, go. If you get in his way when he's catching rays, it may not be too wise. You can struggle around, but he'll hold you down and pour sand into your eyes. Well, I am sorry if I spoiled your lunch, but I was told to warn the punks. They better watch out. Yeah. Psycho Surfer's coming to get you. So go, go, go. 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 8 girls for every Psycho Surfer.
The Casualties and Psycho Surfer. After an extensive advertising campaign, the song entered the local charts at number 46, landing them a small feature with the Hove Chronicle. Sensing something familiar, the journalist recognised them from a previous interview he'd done during their Willard and Gosling days, in which Tom happened to mention he'd never visited the local beach, let alone surfed, due to a crippling crustacean phobia he'd developed since being bitten by a crab when he was 9. The resulting article left their credibility in tatters, and Psycho Surfer dropped from the charts the following week. A few months later, the world fell under the spell of flower power. Never one to miss out on a commercial opportunity, Silverfish penned a song he felt encapsulated the spirit of the times, and which he offered the Casualties after it's turned down by everyone else on the Piewick roster. Desperate to reinvent themselves after the Psycho Surfer debacle, they jumped at the chance. So put on your sunglasses. From 1967, this is the Casualties, again, with It's a Sunny Day. Sunny Day by the Casualties. A truly great track in my opinion, and deserving of a much better placing than the number 87 where it eventually stalled in the Hove Hot 100. But thanks to a lawsuit from 3 former Piewick acts alleging gross managerial incompetence, it wasn't until November of that year, long past the official Summer of Love, as well as one of the wettest months on UK record, that Silverfish had the funds to release It's a Sunny Day, ensuring no DJ could risk playing it without looking very silly indeed. And that's assuming they wanted to, which is not much evidence they did. Come 1968, most hippies had given up on the promised revolution, but Silverfish became convinced this was the year they would consolidate power, leading to a golden era of permanent world peace, and wrote what he hoped would become the movement's anthem, which he again offered the Casualties after it was rejected by everyone else on the label. From 1968 then, this is We Are the People!
Aquarius, tell me, has it dawned on you? Listen to the sound of life so harmonious. It's every color, every hue. We are the brothers, the sisters, the daughters and the sons. We are the children, we are the people, we are one. Workers of this world, grow your hair, put down your tools. Can't you see the time has come? Comrades, heed my call, from Stalingrad to Twickenham. It's a revolution without guns. We are the brothers, the sisters, the daughters and the sons. We are the children, we are the people, we are one. Prisoners of this land, the chains that enslaveth thee are only figments of your mind. So sing this song, sing it true and sing it proud, and thy freedom ye shall find. We are the brothers, sisters, the daughters and the sons. We are the children, we are the people, we are one.
The Casualties and We Are the People. In keeping with the song's sentiments, and determined to avoid the timing misfortunes that held back their previous single, Silverfish set a release date of May the 1st, International Workers' Day. But the fates would conspire once more. The following day saw the infamous student uprisings in Paris, followed by the assassinations in America of both Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy, and all this on the back of police assaulting anti-war protesters in London's Grosvenor Square. We Are the People's call for a revolution without guns couldn't have been more out of step with the prevailing mood, and it received a critical mauling from the mainstream and underground press, including a particularly scathing review from the Hartfield High Times, who called it simultaneously smug, condescending and almost dangerous in its naivety. As part of the promotional campaign, Silverfish had commissioned a giant billboard ad overlooking Hove Square, depicting Willard as a white-robed Jesus-like figure cradling a lamb, alongside the slogan "Meek is Magnificent." When spray painting vandals altered this to read "Meat is Magnificent," brought to you by the Lamb Marketing Board, their humiliation was complete. Finally disillusioned with Silverfish, and with their contractual obligations fulfilled, the duo decided to sever ties, or should I say casual ties, with Piewick, in search of a deal offering the kind of artistic freedom now being enjoyed even by the likes of the Monkees, whose self-directed, albeit widely panned feature film Head had just hit US cinemas. Having failed to recoup his recording or promotional costs, Silverfish was about to let them go, when his accountant pointed out this money was still recoverable as long as they remained on the label, so offered them a new deal, including the full creative control they sought, but on even more exploitative terms than before, which, unable to secure a better offer, or indeed any offer, they signed on the spot. Though pleased with their new creative freedom, Willard had failed to complete a new song since their Alfredo and Alfonso days, due to a case of writer's block brought on by being regularly booed off at the Halloumi Palace. To solve the problem, he called upon a hypnotherapist who'd helped him through his previous crustacean phobia. 20 minutes into the first session, it was interrupted by his 18-stone cleaning lady, Griselda who'd come to empty the bins. Willard immediately declared his love, and they married the following weekend to the consternation of friends and family, who maintained that in this highly suggestible state, he'd bonded with the first person he'd laid eyes on, similar to how a newly hatched chick thinks the first object it sees is its mother. Whatever the truth, in terms of his songwriting, the hypnosis was a success, unleashing a burst of creativity, beginning with a song about his new love and the reactions they'd received that would become their next single. Griselda.
Griselda, you look pretty good to me. Drizzly weather, when you're far away from me. They say that love is blind, does funny things to your mind, creeps up from behind, and that's the way we like it. Griselda, you look pretty good to me. Drizzly weather, when you're far away from me. They gasp when she walks in, when we go out dancing in her body song. They say they've not seen anything like it. Griselda, you look pretty good to me. Drizzly weather, when you're far away from me. Her mother, she keeps asking, when will we get married? All my friends keep laughing, we make the whole world happy. Griselda, you look pretty good to me. Drizzly weather, when you're far away from me. From the first time that I saw you, with your eyes so green, and your skin so pale and freckled, I just knew, without you, my life would never be complete. My dear sweet Griselda, you look pretty good to me. Drizzly weather, when you're far away from me. Griselda, you look pretty good to me. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, as far as I can see.
Griselda by the Casualties. The song would become their most successful yet, making the Hove Top 10 and even denting the Brighton Top 50, an almost unimaginable feat for the duo when arriving starry-eyed in the borough a mere 5 years previously. Buoyed by their success, Willard set to work on their most ambitious project to date, the soon-to-be notorious Time Tunnel. It started out as a solid, if slightly underwhelming idea for a themed EP telling the story of, quote, a lunch break in the life of Brian Normalman, a humble office clerk who considers applying for a promotion. Before eating such a perfectly made egg and cress sandwich, he decides the secret of life is accepting and making the most of one's lot. They were about to start recording when Gosling got wind of the Moody Blues' latest release, Days of Future Past, a concept album chronicling an entire week of what frontman Justin Hayward dubbed a London everyman. Convinced they'd stolen his idea, Willard vowed to outdo them and introduced a plot development whereby after finishing the sandwich, Normalman meets a time traveller from the year 4049 who becomes stuck in the present when his time machine breaks down and realises the broken part won't be invented for another 3 centuries. Using his skills as an amateur CB repairman, Normalman helped fix the machine, only to find themselves on the run from a fleet of intergalactic bounty hunters who'd been chasing the time traveller over a 200-year-old parking fine that had since accrued massive interest. In advance of the now proposed quintuple album, a single was released employing a prototype synthesizer cum Hammond organ, another attempt to outdo the Moody Blues and their use of a mellotron for Nights in White Satin. And from 1969, here it is, Time Tunnel, Take a Trip, 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 Trip. That's meant to sound like an echo, by the way, only I don't have an echo unit.
Time tunnel, take a trip right back in time. Meet me on the corner of your mind. On a mystic ship through the mists of time.
On a mystic ship through the mists of time.
On a mystery trip on a carpet ride.
Mystery trip on a carpet.
Time tunnel, take a trip right back in time. Meet me on the corner of your mind. In a mystic ship on Hodgson doing fine.
Mystic ship on Hodgson doing fine.
Set to a quarter past the end of time.
Quarter past the end of
Time tunnel, take a trip right back in time. Meet me on the corner of your mind. On a mystic ship, full steam ahead.
mystic ship full steam ahead.
With an intergalactic A to Z.
Intergalactic A2.
Time tunnel, take a trip right back in time. Meet me on the corner of your mind. On a mystic ship to a mystic land.
Mystic ship to a mystic land.
Where outer space is getting out of hand.
Outer space is getting out of
Time tunnel, take a trip right back in time. Meet me on the corner of your mind.
It's like I finally understood Einstein's theory of relativity. We've got all the time in the world. Which is basically, time goes by more slowly when you're with your relatives.
I mean, none of us really know. I mean, we like to think we know, but we don't know. I mean, we could just be going round and round in circles, endlessly.
I mean, time is just an invention, you know, by people to make sense of time.
The Casualties and Time Tunnel, Take a Trip. While failing to gain any national or regional airplay, it did receive a couple of spins on St George's Hospital Radio, along with an offer to discuss the project live on the air. Having just heard of the Moody Blues' plan to play the Albert Hall backed by a full orchestra, Willard felt compelled to outdo them once more and use the interview to announce Time Tunnel the Musical, a 12-hour live extravaganza to be debuted at Biggin Hill Airfield, accompanied by a holographic aerial display and a self-designed octaphonic sound system, which he boasted would bleeping bleep on the bleeping Moody Blues. He didn't actually say bleep, he swore, just to be clear. Concerned by the change in Tom's usually modest nature, Silverfish discovered the Days of Future Past album that originally inspired the project had actually come out in 1967, 2 years before Willard had even conceived of Time Tunnel. He then learned Willard had become heavily addicted to Pro Plus caffeine tablets recommended by his GP to combat the occasional drowsy spells he'd been suffering since the interrupted hypnosis session, omitting to mention they should be taken for a maximum of 3 weeks. His tolerance has subsequently increased to the point he is now consuming up to 8 blister packs a day and exhibiting the signs of acute caffeine poisoning, including paranoia, megalomania and delusions of grandeur, explaining all his recent behaviour. Silverfish managed to trick Willard into going cold turkey by locking him in his kitchen for a fortnight, and apart from gaining 80 pounds and the occasional rant against Justin Hayward, he seemed to make a full recovery. Unfortunately, it also resulted in him losing all interest in the Time Tunnel project, as well as the Casualties, who he then quit to form Capricorn and Sagittarius, a prog folk duo with wife Griselda, leaving Gosling to carry the Casualties mantle, performing their old hits with his cousin Graham, now standing in for Willard. 8 years later, and as suddenly as he'd fallen for Griselda, Willard filed for divorce, citing what he called her incessant babbling, which he could no longer tolerate since being released from the hypnotic trance after accidentally hearing the release phrase 2 mackerel and a large trout while shopping in Hove Market. Willard then talked Gosling into recording his first new song in 8 years, about his now ex-wife, and written to suit the nascent punk rock movement. So from 1977, this is the Casualties and Speechless. Speechless by the Casualties. While failing to gain any national or regional press, the song received a moderately encouraging review from the alternative rock fanzine Random Nosebleed, who called it an almost Bowie-like transformation from the former soft pop also-rans, winning it a brief appearance in the Greenbridge punk charts. Willard followed it with another personal song, this time documenting his various health issues and general disillusionment with the NHS. Again from 1977, this is Doctors.
Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. I'd like to tell you about a friend of mine. His name was Ed. Saw some quack a few years back, and now he's dead. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. They're underworked and overpaid. They golf all afternoon. They hang around their country clubs and find you to your room. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. you're having trouble sleeping, they'll say to get some rest. Whatever you like doing, they'll say to do it less. The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doc tells me that what I need's an incision in my belly, liposuction, weight reduction of intestinal jelly. The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Please, I got disease, and I think maybe it's spreading. Sit down, son, take some of these. Now I'm off to a wedding. The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. If you've problems with arousal, they'll say to change your bedding, then write you a prescription to help reduce the swelling. The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing.
Possible side effects include some weight loss, okay, some hair loss, okay, vomiting,
The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. The doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing. Doctors, what do they know? They don't know nothing.
The Casualties and Doctors. The song managed another short run in the Groombridge punk charts, and that Christmas Willard turned on his radio to discover Matthew Mayhew, the self-styled John Peel of the East Weald, had included it in his Festive 50, his last ever as it turned out, due to a cease and desist order from Peel's management, informing him Festive 50 was a registered trademark and barring him from any further references to his name. Willard had finally received the critical and commercial acclaim he'd always craved, and A Perfect Christmas was made even more perfect with the gift of a colourful knitted sweater from his aunt, inspiring another new and personal song. From 1978, this is The Casualties and Jumper. Oh, I almost forgot. Listen carefully to the final verse as it contains a very handy laundry tip. From 1978, this is The Casualties and Jumper.
I have got a new jumper, it's quite unusual, really. Karen says it's like her sister's, but it isn't. It isn't, no, it's not. Oh, it isn't. Oh, no, it's not. I have got a new jumper and Gareth says it makes him sick, but I think he exaggerates a bit. He exaggerates a bit. Oh, he exaggerates just a bit. I have got a new jumper and Jeremy's in love with it. He says there's some conditioner that will help protect the fabric to keep the getting stretched, always dry and flat and never hang it up while wet.
From 1978, that was The Casualties and Jumper. Did you catch the last line about never hang out your woolens to dry? It saved me many an hour over the years, I can tell you. Despite the handy advice and how well it seemed to fit with the burgeoning new wave scene, Matthew Mayhew refused to play it, while Random Nosebleed dubbed it a shameless, almost Hollies-like attempt to jump on the latest bandwagon, which for once it wasn't. Struggling to survive on their ever-dwindling royalties, and confused at having never received a single penny from their biggest hit Griselda, the duo confronted Larry Silverfish, who explained the song only made the Hove charts due to him buying the entire run himself as a present for guests at his daughter's wedding. The sense of failure, combined with the realisation that his most successful songs were all written while miserable, while those written while happy had all flopped, brought about a kind of existential crisis for Willard, as he concluded he could never be both happy and a success, leading to perhaps the darkest chapter in the Casual Ties story. The next day, he announced his musical retirement to live in a shed on his allotment, where he'd spend the next 10 years surviving mainly on a diet of runner beans and potatoes, while Brian Gosling was reduced to performing solo at the Halloumi Palace under the name Alfonso, formerly of Alfredo and Alfonso, the singing busboy. Meanwhile, Silverfish had been suffering his own difficulties. Facing a new class action from 12 former Piewick acts, plus a series of large unpaid restaurant bills, he decided to serve a writ against the Casual Ties, reminding them that they were still signed to the label, and under the terms of their renegotiated second contract, was entitled to 97% of all their income and related profits, musical as well as non-musical, and was therefore owed not just 97% of Brian's earnings from the Halloumi Palace, but also of Tom's allotment produce. In desperation, the duo met for the first time in a decade. As they pored over the details of their contract, Gosling noticed the wording specified they were contracted for 7 A-sides rather than singles. Remembering that to save money, Silverfish had used some leftover blank A-side labels for the flip of Time Tunnel, this meant it was technically a double A-side, and if they gave him just one more single, they'd finally be free from the clutches of Piewick. There was just one problem. After the failure of Jumper, Willard's writer's block had returned. Unwilling to risk another course of hypnosis, it was again Gosling who provided a solution. On his way to the meeting, he happened to read an article about an emerging dance movement in Ibiza called Acid House, which the writer believed would soon sweep the UK. Describing it as a drum machine-based style, employing simple repetitive melodies and audio samples rather than lyrics, Gosling reckoned he could come up with something to fit the bill, and which might even lead to an illustrious new future for the duo as DJ/dance pioneers. Willard gave his approval, and a track entitled From the Dawn, open brackets, mind-expanding vegetation, close brackets, was swiftly recorded and released, so for the first time they'd actually be ahead of a musical trend. It was only when the initial reviews came in, including one calling it more suited to Mogadon than MDMA, that they realised the drum machine they'd used to record the track had accidentally been set to the US power rating of 110 volts, rather than the UK standard 230 volts, rendering the whole thing almost exactly half the 140 beats per minute the article said was typical for the genre. Unsurprisingly, the song failed to make the national, regional Acid House or regional Acid House charts. For once I'm with the critics, and it's the only Casual Ties track I literally can't stand. But I suppose one or two of you might like it. So from 1987, this is the Casual Ties and From the Dawn, open brackets, mind-expanding vegetation, close brackets.
You are beginning
to die. Countdown begins now.
I have always felt one must spring clean the head of the patient before use.
From the dawn of civilization, man has turned for inspiration to mind expanding vegetation. We live together, we react to and with one another, but always and at all times we are by ourselves. Is it agreeable? Somebody asked. Neither agreeable nor disagreeable, I answered. It just is. You may become aware of a sense of ego loss. From the dawn of civilization, man has turned for inspiration to mind expanding Vegetation.
The patient need feel no anxiety, as there is nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear! Nothing to fear!
Everything you've ever seen, everything you've ever heard, everything you've ever been told, it's untrue. It's untrue.
I just say I can't go on like this.
From the dawn of civilization, man has turned for inspiration to mind, expanding, ding, 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 vegetation. So I took the drug, and then I felt pretty strange, and then I felt I'm still alive, Jonathan. I think I'm coming back here.
Whatever turns you on.
Ideal for treating progressive neurological disorder. Ideal for treating progressive neurological disorder. From the dawn of civilization, man has turned for inspiration to mind, expanding, ding, 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 vegetation. If the guitar is out of tune, it's just the way it's meant to be. It's just the way it's meant to be. Funny old world. What a funny world. I mean, you gotta laugh. Oh, you gotta laugh. From the dawn of civilization, man has turned for inspiration to mind, expanding, ding, 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 vegetation. Striking resemblance to an owl. How's it for you? I'm not really sure if I felt anything.
The Casualties and From the Dawn, open brackets, mind-expanding vegetation, close brackets. As I've said, I don't care for it personally. I don't know what it is, I just find it annoying. But it did finally release them from their Piewick contract, and while they're still yet to find a new one, they recently set up a GoFundMe page to record an album of Peter and Gordon covers, for which they've already raised over £30. So that's very exciting. As I've now played all their singles, and as previously mentioned the B-side to Time Tunnel was technically an A-side, I thought I'd play you out with that one. It's not their best by any means, but at least it might take away some of the taste left by that awful From the Dawn. I really don't like that one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Coming up shortly is the local traffic news, followed by Jan Day's My Day in Midhurst, including an interview with the author of her new book, Travels Around East Grinstead. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Until then, this is The Casualties and Think Love.
Turn that frown upside down. I think love. You should think that money is the thing that makes the world go around. Remember one and one, and think of that in song. When it's a boy and a girl. I know that you know just what I'm talking about. What makes you punch the air like you're a millionaire, and if you're down and out, you wanna scream and shout. Turn that frown upside down. I think love. You believe in philosophy, keep a man satisfied. To help someone that you share in your mind.